Said she tired, little money, need a big boy. Pull up 20-inch blades like I'm Lil Troy. Now it's everybody flocking, need a G.
Welcome back to Pigskin Podcast. I'm Tyler Madison, and this is Abraham Gonzalez, NFL Insider. How are you feeling about this week, Abraham?
Dude, I'm feeling great. There's so many great games coming up.
There are.
Especially that 49ers game. I know you're a big 49ers
Yes,
fan.
I am.
A few people out there know that he's pretty big. That's a big game. Russell Wilson's doing better. You know, a lot of people say MVP talk. I don't think so, but he's absolutely doing pretty good.
He's doing pretty good.
A lot of big games.
Last week I went 9-5 on the picks. If you guys watched the first video, there were a few games I overcorrected on, but we're gonna try to fix it up this week. I think Abraham's gonna give me some good insight on some of these games, and we're just gonna kick it off. We have a Thursday night football game between the Los Angeles Chargers and the Oakland Raiders. This game is in Oakland. It's a divisional game, and the Chargers are still favored by 1 point. How are you feeling about this game, Abraham?
I am going with the Chargers on this one. I'm a Melvin Gordon fan. Yes, he's done some wrong stuff, but great player, hard runner. Oakland's been struggling this season. Usually, it's a usual Oakland thing over there. It seems like I'm going with the Chargers on this one.
Man, the 1 point favorite, I'm really feeling that. I don't think it's going to be that far of a game. However, I'm going to go ahead and pick Oakland on this one. I think Josh Jacobs is going to have a phenomenal week this week. The Chargers defense doesn't impress me. Phillip Rivers, he makes mistakes, and this is not a defense you can make mistakes on. I think I'm going to go ahead and pick the Oakland Raiders on this one, and they're going to move up second. They're trying to grab the wild-card spot in the AFC. It's not very competitive over there, so it's going to be pretty easy for Oakland to get that. Next, let's go to the Sunday games. We do not have a game in England this week. All the games are right here in the USA. First game is going to be a kickoff at noon. We have the Baltimore Ravens playing against the Cincinnati Bengals. This is a divisional game as well. It is in Cincinnati, and the Ravens are favored by 10 points. How are you feeling about the Ravens, Abraham?
That 10-point radius is either as good or is not as high as I think it would be. Lamar Jackson's doing phenomenally well. I think he had one game where he played not as good as Lamar Jackson's expectations are, but he definitely is playing something. And considering the fact that he's on my fantasy team, I give it to the Ravens on this one. I like this one.
I picked the Ravens too on this one. I think that's a pretty easy pick. AJ Green will come back on Sunday, but I don't think that's any factor in the game. Lamar Jackson will have a great week this week. They just destroy the Patriots on Sunday. And I think this is a good week for them. They might get up there and get that number one spot in AFC. How they're playing right now.
I'm feeling it.
They're going to claim the AFC North for sure, maybe the entire AFC. Staying in that division, we have the struggling Cleveland Browns playing at home against the Buffalo Bills. Fox Sports predicted that the Cleveland Browns would win this one by 3. How are you feeling on this one?
This one was a tough one. Bills are, they've had some history. When you're a team with history, you tend to get talked about a little bit more than usual other teams, and they're definitely struggling this season, but so are the Browns. I'm going to go with the Browns on this one. I'm going with the Browns. I like Baker Mayfield. He's a strong player. He's struggling right now, but I think once he finds himself, and maybe this is the week, guys, he finds himself and just goes off, and maybe he'll get OBJ the ball more, because I know he was complaining about that. OBJ is a little crybaby a little bit, but it's all good. When you're making money, I'm pretty sure you want the ball. You want the ball. So, I'm going with the Browns on this one.
I like what you said about Baker Mayfield finding himself against other teams, but I don't think this is the week. I think the Bills defense, top 10 debatably, depending on how you look at it, on points and everything. If they haven't figured out how to get OBJ the ball yet, I don't think they will. It's a little too late for me. I said the Browns might get to the playoffs at the beginning of the year. I think they would have a good season, but they're not right now. And I think it's going to stay that way. The Buffalo Bills, they were talked about early in the season a lot, and that's kind of fell off. And I think they're going to come back and they're going to find themselves. But I don't think Baker's going to find himself this week. I think Nick Chubb is going to play good. I think OBJ is still going to not get the ball. And I think the Browns are going to drop another loss this week. Moving on, we have the Detroit Lions playing at the Chicago Bears. The Bears are a 2.5-point favorite, and this is also a divisional game. What are we thinking about this? What are we thinking?
I'm going with Detroit Lions, man. I like the Lions. I like the way they play sometimes.
Yeah.
They're definitely a tough component.
They are.
You never count Matthew Stafford out. He's a quarterback of many wonders. He has his downs, but he definitely has his ups, and you'll notice whenever he has his ups.
Exactly.
Bears defense is playing phenomenally well. Not as good as the Bears are. They're definitely not up there like they used to be. But I have Detroit winning by this one.
I'm gonna go ahead and go with you on that one, but I don't see where the Bears are favored in this one. I believe they have won like 2 or 3 games this season, if I'm right on that. And I mean, the Bears, they're not a bad team.
No, they're really not.
They're 3-5. And they're last in the NFC North. They're not a bad team. Mitch Trubisky is not a bad quarterback. They have Khalil Mack on the defense and a lot of guys to back them up. They have some pretty good guys.
Yeah, their defense is definitely one to worry about.
Yes, they are. But this season, like I said, 3-5. I don't see how they're playing that bad. I don't. And the Detroit Lions. I mean, week 1 we saw them shoot out with the Cardinals. Yeah. It's a really close game. I think the Lions are trying to get up there and get that second spot in the NFC North, especially with the Packers losing this past Sunday to the Chargers. Yeah. That division is wide open with the Vikings and the Lions and the Packers all competing for first. I see the Lions win this one. It might even be more than the spread. I think they might win this one by a touchdown, maybe more.
Yeah.
Next game, we have a New York rival. We have the New York Jets facing the New York Giants. This is a home game, for both teams because it's in the same stadium. Yeah. The Giants are favored 2.5 points on this one. What's that?
Freaking Saquon, man. Freaking animal. I like Saquon. I like the way he plays. I'm going with Giants on this one. I'm really, don't know too much about the Jets. I'm gonna be honest with you. There's really not much to know about them. So I'm going with the Giants on this one. I like Saquon. I like what they're doing over there. They give them a couple more years, and Giants are definitely going to be a tough opponent in the NFL.
Yes, they are. I like what you said about the Giants. Sam Darnold, the Jets, they were like top 10, I believe, in the preseason rankings, and I wasn't really sure about that. Le'Veon Bell, that's Le'Veon Bell. I think they're an average team. Robbie Anderson, obviously, he's doing okay. Jamal Adams, he's really upset, if you weren't aware of that. After the trade deadline, everything that happened there, a lot of the Jets players are upset because, either they wanted to get out of there and they didn't, or they didn't want to get out of there and they were getting calls. So I like the Giants on this one. Sterling Shepard was in concussion protocol a week ago, and he was cleared to play against Dallas. So the Giants will have Sterling Shepard back this game as well. I like Daniel Jones. I think he's going to light up that Jets defense, and I like the Giants in this one. Next game, we have the Kansas City Chiefs playing at the Tennessee Titans, and the Kansas City Chiefs are favored by 3.5. Tell me what you think about it.
This one's a tough one. So I like Chiefs. I like Pat Mahomes. He's a Texas boy, so am I. I like what the Chiefs are doing. But you can't always count Derrick Henry out. Marcus Mariota, he's a great quarterback coming out of Oregon. Considering just the fact that the Chiefs are just a more athletic team, I'm gonna have to go with the Chiefs on this one. But like I said, it's a tough choice. Titans, yes, they're last in the AFC South, but I mean, you can't ever count them out. No, they're one of those teams that can come back on you real quick if you don't play well, and they'll definitely strike if you start off slow on them.
Exactly.
So, but I'm gonna go with the Chiefs on here, and I like what they're favored by on this one.
I like the Chiefs as well. As I told you before the video started, I didn't know who to pick on this one because they don't know if Patrick Mahomes will play on Sunday. Matt Moore might still play, obviously, and I think they're an average team with Matt Moore. They still have the same receivers, same everything else without Patrick Mahomes. And I just think they're an average team with Matt Moore. The Tennessee Titans, last week they started Ryan Tannehill, and that worked out great for them. And I thought that he could do really good against the Chiefs defense. So I was really torn up on who to pick on this one. But I'm going to go ahead and go with the Chiefs as well. I think they just have that it factor that's going to put them above the Titans in that game. The next game, which is a For me, it's one of the worst lines on this entire week. They have the Cardinals against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are favored by 4.5. I'm going to go ahead and let you talk on this for a little bit, and then I have something to say about that game.
I'm going with Cardinals on this one. Buccaneers are man. They're 2-6 on the season. I don't see how unless they're just giving grace, saying that they're gonna have a good game, and they might. That's always the case. But like the way Arizona's been playing lately, they played extremely well this last week. I like the way they're working with the offense, pretty boy offense. I like the way they're working with it. I'm going with the Cardinals on this one.
Listen up. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers slaughtered the Rams, I believe it was week 3.
Mm-hmm.
Take the Seattle Seahawks to overtime. And all of a sudden, people think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are for real.
They're 2-6.
They were 2-6 on the season.
Yes.
2-6.
They're 2-6.
They took your quote-unquote MVP candidate to overtime. They're not worth it. They're not worth it. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I'm a 49er fan, and we beat the Buccaneers week 1. That was a bad game for us. We barely won it. We squeaked by it, but that was a bad game for us, but we still beat them. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are not a real team. I'm sorry, Jameis Winston, if you're watching, your team's bad, okay?
Yep.
Also, as a 49er fan, I've seen how good the Cardinals can be if they play to their potential.
Mm-hmm.
They dropped 25 points, which is the highest that any team has dropped on the 49ers all season.
Mm-hmm.
25 points. And they held the 49ers to 28 points. The Cardinals are going to be for real in a few years.
Yep, I think so.
Kyler Murray, Mark Lawrence right here, will have 200 passing yards and probably 80 rushing yards in this game. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers do not have an offense. They barely could stop Russell Wilson, and Kyler Murray is almost like Russell Wilson.
Yep.
I see the Cardinals winning this one by 14. I really do. I don't see why the Buccaneers are favoring that one. I don't.
I know.
All right, next game. We have the Falcons playing against the New Orleans Saints. This is in the Superdome. It's a divisional matchup. The Saints are favored by 12.5. Not too much to say about this one. They have not too much to say about it.
No, not at all. You know, Falcons, like I said, historically pretty good. But this, like I said, this is a divisional game. Saints are on first, and the Falcons are fourth. Saints are 7-1, and the Falcons are 1-7. I'm going with the Saints on this one.
Mm-hmm.
This is pretty much an easy one.
Yeah.
So,
Julio Jones, man, that guy. He's such a legendary receiver. He really is. He has so much on his name. Julio Jones has so much on his name. I have so much respect for the guy. But you need to get out of Atlanta.
yeah.
He really does. Mohamed Sanu got out of there pretty easily. He might get a ring this year, which we'll talk about later. But it's sad to see. It really is.
Yeah.
I want to see Julio going so bad. But like I said, this isn't much to talk about. The Saints are going to win this one. They don't even have much of a defense. I don't think they're going to be able to contend with Kamara, Thomas,
I don't think so.
threes.
Yeah.
I think
Michael Thomas is playing lights out football this year.
He is.
One of our guys on our hall has him on his thing, and it just can't seem to beat him whenever Michael Thomas has a great game on fantasy. So, Saints easy on this one. It's like a bye week, basically.
Right, yeah.
It's like a bye week.
All right, next game we have the Miami Dolphins playing at the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts are favored by 10.5. What do you say about this one, Abraham?
I'm going with Colts. Pretty easy on this one. I'm not gonna lie. I don't have a favorite team in the NFL, but I had high hopes for the Miami Dolphins this year. They got some really good picks that I liked, and when they came out, and I was like, yeah, this is not a Miami. There's something going on in Miami Dolphins organization that they need to figure out real soon. Because they have great potential to be a great team, just like any other team. They could be really great. I don't want them to have the Cleveland Browns name for many years. I don't want them to have that. I have a little bit more respect for the Dolphins than that. They will be able to have a great team. They can just figure out what's going on. Maybe more leadership. I don't know, but I have the Colts on this one. I like the favorite on this one.
I like that one too. I picked the Colts. You know, the Dolphins, they beat the Jets, which I called last week, by the way. Y'all can watch that video. But I really like the Colts this week. Jacoby Brissett, obviously developed under Bill Belichick. The guy's a stud. I say he develops this week. Obviously losing to, who did they play last week? Colts. I remember they lost last week.
I think they lost.
And I think this is a good developing week for him. I think the Colts won this one by, like I said, 10.5. The Dolphins don't have a defense. They did get a keep the lead, though. That helped them out a bit, but that's not enough to stop them. So I like the Colts in this one. Mm-hmm. All right, let's go to the next game, man. We have the Los Angeles Rams playing at the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Rams are favored by 3.5. Tell me what about it.
Okay, so Rams are playing exceptionally well. 2-game win streak. Saints are struggling. They have their ups and downs. They're on a 3-game win streak. 4-4 on the season. I'm going with the Steelers on this one. I like the receiver core at the Steelers. I like what Mason Rudolph. Once Mason Rudolph, he's slowly starting to merge into that offense over there at the Steelers, and James Washington's playing well. I think they're doing better. They are without Antonio Brown. That's a whole nother story. I like the leadership roles that you can see it on the field. Yes, they're losing games, but they're trying to figure out a lot of that core stuff in the Steelers thing. Once all that happened, being the top team in the NFL to the most talked about team in the NFL is a totally different, totally different thing. So and it can rupture a core a little bit. So I think they're a little sore right now. This season is probably a redeveloped season without Antonio Brown and without Big Ben playing, but I like Mason Rudolph. Him and James Washington connect real well, so I'm going to go with the Steelers on this one.
I like what you said about the talent and the receiver core and everything like that, but I'm going to go ahead and flip that around. I say the Rams win this one by the spread. I don't think it's too far of a game. I think the Rams, with the Seahawks and the 49ers playing on Monday Night Football, the Rams have a chance to maybe get that second spot in a few weeks. They might even get to the top depending on how the 49ers play on after this week, which I'll talk about later. But the Rams, they really haven't played to their potential this season. They have so many guys that were hurt last year that are coming back. They lost Marcus Peters and keep the lead, got Jalen Ramsey, which I don't think that's a good trade, but they have a lot of things that can make their team better. And Sean McVay being a great head coach, I thought they were going to do better than they are, and they're not. But I like the Rams in this one. I don't think the Steelers have a great defense. I think this might be a shootout. I don't think either team's going to stop either one. It's just who can be an ends in the last. Going to the next game, we have Carolina Panthers playing at the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau. Packers are favored by 5 points. This is probably the most interesting matchup besides the next two. What are you thinking about it, Abe?
I'm going with the Packers on this one, just because the Packers defense is playing phenomenal. I believe so. And then Aaron Rodgers, just an all-around stud. He's just one of those guys I have a lot of respect for. I don't have much to say on this one. I'd go Packers all the way.
I almost picked the Packers. I really did. It's hard to go against Aaron Rodgers, especially on the way he's playing this year, the way he's played in the past. But I like the Panthers in this one. Kyle Allen, he was beating himself up after the Panthers loss. Christian McCaffrey, he's playing phenomenal right now. He has not had an off week. And I don't think there's anybody that can contend with Curtis Samuel, that can contend with Christian McCaffrey. I like the Panthers in this one. Like I said earlier, the Chargers beating the Packers on Sunday. We've seen that they're not human, or they are human. Packers are human, is what I meant to say. And the Panthers, I think they'll be able to pick out the weaknesses in the Packers. I don't think they have anyone that can send pressure to Aaron Rodgers, and even if he did, he can squeak out of that pressure. We've seen that plenty of times. I like the Panthers in this one. I think it might be by a field goal. This one might even go to overtime. I really think so.
That would be good. That would be a great game to watch.
Sunday Night Football. Oh my goodness. I have much to say about this game. Jay Travis, if you're watching, here comes some shade. We have the Minnesota Vikings playing at the Dallas Cowboys in Jerry World. Dallas Cowboys are favored by 2.5. Go ahead and say something before I explain.
All right. Well, my dad's a huge Cowboys fan. Minnesota Vikings are playing phenomenally well. They're 6-3. They've only allowed 158 points. Cowboys are first in the division, 5-3. Points allowed to 142. Cowboys defense is something Cowboys have been missing in last couple of years. Everyone knows that when they started drafting offensive players, we're all like, "What the heck, dude? Like, get some defensive players in there." And now they got some defensive players in there, and we're playing phenomenally well. I say weird, but I'm not a Cowboys fan, but my dad is. But I'm going with the Cowboys on this one. I think it's going to be close. I think this is going to be last minute game, possibly overtime. It's going to be a fun game. It's going to be a fun game.
Just like, I will only pick the Dallas Cowboys when they play the Miami Dolphins. I just don't like them. Let's just throw something out there real quick. Dak Prescott is maybe a top 15 quarterback in the NFL. Ezekiel Elliott was complaining that he get enough money in the offseason. They didn't get his money, and what has he not done?
Yeah.
What has he not done since he got his money? He has not hurdled anybody. He has not hopped in the Salvation Army bucket. Ezekiel Elliott is not worth his contract.
Yep.
Jerry Jones, if you're watching, sorry, you made a mistake.
Yeah.
Jason Garrett needs to get fired. And like you said earlier, they started drafting offensive players, and there were so many defensive players they could have drafted.
They could have got Jalen Ramsey.
They could have got Jalen Ramsey.
Yep.
They could have got Aaron Donald.
Yep.
They could have got Khalil Mack.
Yep.
They had so many picks, they could send them away and get players.
Yeah.
They didn't. Instead, let's keep Ezekiel Elliott for $96 million.
Yeah. That was my thing.
You have a top, talent-wise,
Yeah.
you are top 5 in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, you're sitting at the top of the just totally competitive NFC East with a 5-3 record.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, Jason Wynn came back, and you can't go 6-1. You lost to the Jets.
Man.
I think the Vikings are just a little bit better than the Jets. And this is Sunday Night Football, so it's a bigger platform. Dallas Cowboys, you're not back. You're not them boys. My Minnesota Vikings are going to win this one by 3 touchdowns. Dak Prescott throws 3 picks. He fumbles once. 6 sacks by the Minnesota Vikings defense. You are not back. You are not them boys.
Let's go.
Let's go. Dallas Cowboys fans, my goodness.
Hey, you know what?
And here's the other thing. We didn't even talk about this. Philadelphia Eagles have a bye this week, and they're sitting at 5-4. If the Dallas Cowboys manage to lose this game to the Minnesota Vikings, they will fall to 2nd in the NFC East. You can barely get to the wild card at 2nd in the NFC East. Then we go on to the NFC North, and the Minnesota Vikings could potentially get the number 1 spot in the NFC North.
Yeah.
This game is highly competitive for both teams, but Dak Prescott sucks, Ezekiel Elliott is overrated, and their receiver core is not playing at their potential. Their defense has not shown what they can do with their talent. I think the Dallas Cowboys lose this one by 21.
Oh,
sorry about that, guys.
I like it, dude. I like it. Like I said, I'm not a Cowboys fan.
And the sad thing is, I don't even think Kirk Cousins is good. I just know the Dallas Cowboys are bad, so they're going to lose that game by 21. All right. Let's talk about my team now.
Yeah.
This is probably the most important matchup of the whole week, honestly. We have the Seattle Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I do have some things to say about the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
Playing at Levi Stadium against the San Francisco 49ers, divisional matchup. Potentially a NFC Championship preview.
Yeah.
6-point favorite by the San Francisco 49ers. What do you think about it, Abe?
I'm, listen to this. 49ers are sitting first, 8-0. Points allowed, 102 points. The 49ers defense is such an underrated defense now that nobody talks about. That everybody, once they come out and say this, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Once people figure out the 49ers are a tough team, they're gonna start hating.
Exactly.
But you can't mess with stats. They've only allowed 102 points. I give you that. I give you that. Because that is hard to do. Mm-hmm. That is hard to do. The Rams have only allowed 174, and I think they're the closest that gets to him. I'm believing. Okay. Other than the Cowboys have 142 points allowed. 102. That's you own, dude. And then you're scoring 235 over your opponents. That is. The 49ers are definitely an underrated team that no one's looking at. I can feel your frustration on this. What's it called? Russell Wilson. Yeah, he's playing well. He's playing all right. MVP? No,
he's not.
Don't. Just because he gave Tyler Lockett a phenomenal catch. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong. The catch was phenomenal. Was it 0.4% of chance of catching? Phenomenal. Give it to you. Everybody does that. Baker Mayfield can give Odell a ball and have like 0.3, 0.5 of a chance to catch it. Anybody can do that. Don't base your MVP talk over 3 catches that you gave to Tyler Lockett. Exactly. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. Russell Wilson, I love him. I love his wife. His wife is a great singer. She's a great singer, dude. So he's a great. I like Russell Wilson. I like the way he plays. Hard worker. He's definitely a threat. Don't get me wrong. He's definitely a threat. You can't count him out. You can't say that he's not good because he is. MVP talk? No, not there. So I'm going with the 49ers, and I say they win by 17. I say they have a 17-point win over the Seattle Seahawks.
Here's the reason that the 49ers will win this game. Let me tell you what we are not. We are not Baker Mayfield. We are not Jameis Winston. We are not the Browns defense. We are not the Buccaneers defense. We aren't the Rams defense. But we are better than all of those, and every single one of those was a problem for Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson had to come back against the Browns defense, which is not looking too great right now. Russell Wilson took the Buccaneers defense to overtime. The Seattle Seahawks are a fourth quarter team this year. I have noticed that throughout the weeks. They played 9 games, and they're a fourth quarter team. So Seattle Seahawks fans, if you're down by 21 on Monday night, and it's the third quarter, game's over. Because you can't come back against this 49ers defense. This is not a team that you can come back on. The Patriots defense isn't a team you can come back on. Yeah. If you want to win this game, you have to lead comfortably. But I don't think it's going to happen. The 49ers have scored 235 points compared to the Seattle Seahawks 248 points. Yes, they scored more. But let's look in the next column. Points against. 49ers have had 102 points scored on them. Seattle Seahawks, 230. Nearly double. Yeah. Jimmy Garoppolo, Tevin Coleman, Matt Breida, George Kittle, Kendall Bourne, Dante Pettis. We have so many weapons, and the teams that the Seattle Seahawks have played so far do not have multiple weapons. They have one guy that they mainly go through. We've seen that with the Browns. We've seen that with the Buccaneers using Mike Evans. I have O.J. Howard on my fantasy team. He didn't do crap that week. They mainly use Mike Evans. And every team that they played so far has had that factor. Yeah. I'm calling you right now, the San Francisco 49ers will win this one by 10. And this is just a good game for the 49ers. We have Mike McGlinchey coming back. We have Joe Staley coming back. We have Acklo Witherspoon coming back. Our defense is about to get so much better. We're coming to the second half of the season, and it's about to get really hard. We're going to kick things off 1-0 in the second half of the season. Sorry, Seattle. Russell Wilson is not MVP worthy. No. He's not.
He's not. Definitely not.
Because I can beat the Browns defense, and I'm not getting paid millions of dollars. I'm sorry. it just doesn't happen. However, I know how it's gone in the past. He will win MVP. I don't think Patrick Mahomes should have won MVP last year, honestly. I don't know. But the 49ers will win this game. We're going to go 9-0, and then we'll kick things off next week with, I believe, let's see if I'm right. Let's see who we play next. Yep, we play Arizona next week. That'll be an interesting game. You'll play them again. If we win that game, we'll be 10-0. First time since 1990, and then it gets really hard for us. Thank you for tuning in to Pigskin Podcast, and get familiar with this face right here because it's gonna be on here every week. Come back Tuesday, see how many we got right, and We'll make another video next Wednesday. Come back and check us out. Thank you.